Invited Tudo Bams, the political economist. Thank you very much, Tudo, for joining us on the program tonight. You are a political economist, right? And by your training, you discuss figures every other day and all of that. Now, if I may digress a little bit, or rather step back a little bit, the figures, right, that are emanating from the country's National Bureau of Statistics, they don't look good at all, if we have to be very accurate about it. The ordinary man on the street does not even care what these figures are. All he wants is to survive another day, be able to pay his bills, pay his rent, look after his family. All of these come from, what he gets from the job he has, for those who even have jobs. But by the time next year begins, this ordinary man is going to have to start paying extra in terms of taxes and daily living. How does that really improve the life of the ordinary Nigerian before you talk about, other people who are earning really big?
I think you're mute.
Tudo, can you hear me? Could you unmute your microphone?
Yes, I was on mute. My apologies.
Oh, it's fine.
Enemaku, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Good to see you, Gospel. First of all, I want us to dial it back. And I think I'm going to piggyback on what you said about the president saying widen the tax net when he was campaigning. And I'm going to parallel that with the other one on Inauguration Day, where he said subsidy is gone. So what do we learn from these two announcements? We learned that it is very easy to announce policies, but then economics does not respect your sentiments. It doesn't respect what you think, your good intentions or lack thereof. Because the reality of Nigerians is that the government is basically enacting policies that have nothing to do with the reality of Nigerians. And that's very important. So what is lacking in this government is the sense of empathy and to feel what Nigerians are feeling. The government is really focused on macroeconomics. They want the numbers to look good. In fact, I think the consensus is that MBS is practically just cooking up numbers. Because, for obvious reasons, they want to look good to the international community. They want to look good to the investors. They want the books to be all organized. But then the Nigerians are the ones feeling the pain. Now, let's start with the tax question that you asked. There are two legs to when it comes to fixing the economy. There is fiscal policy and, of course, the monetary policy side. Now, the fiscal policy side of the government has been lacking because for a long time, we see a sense of fiscal irresponsibility, like my other colleague was trying to say, on the part of the government. You are telling Nigerians to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. You are telling them to endure pain of surgery. But you, on the other hand, you're not doing exactly that. There is nothing you are doing to show Nigerians that you feel their pain. It does not make any sense. Now, I think it was former President Obasanjo who said that policies must have a human face. We have to feel the pulse of the people. We cannot be making policies that don't address the real pain of the people. Now, when you listen to Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, who is the chairman of the Presidential Tax Committee, he will tell you that the government is not trying to raise revenue. They're only trying to harmonize. He likes to use all these highfalutin words, harmonize and simplify and synergize. But at the end of the day, these words don't mean anything to the Nigerian people. The structural problems of Nigeria are still there. If you want to implement tax policies, you must necessarily fix the structural problems. What are those problems? Insecurity, power, healthcare, education. I mean, the average business person, the average worker, the average Nigerians is confronted with all these things every day. So, how about wages? How about jobs? So when you come up with tax policies without necessary recourse to the structural issues of Nigeria, then you're not really doing anything. All you are doing is you're trying to make the government look good, and it does not make any sense. Now, one more thing the government likes to say is to tell us that when you look at Africa, the tax to GDP ratio is roughly between maybe 15 to 18% on the average. Currently, Nigeria, our tax to GDP ratio is roughly 10%. So they want to increase that. Well, I have no problem with that. All right. But the issue here is that this is not the right time to implement new tax policies. Nigerians are in pain. Nigerians are suffering. Nigerians are basically the ones bearing the brunt of government policies. So you cannot come at this time and impose new tax laws. It's completely tone deaf and is totally aloof of what Nigerians are facing.
All right, Tudo.
Now, one more question.
Okay, go on. Go
sorry,
on.
go ahead.
Go on.
Okay, I was just going to say one more thing real quick. Enemaku, in terms of the harmonization that Mr. Oyedele would like to brag about, Enemaku, I would like to ask, this is just a hypothetical question. So the government says by next year, these policies are going to go into implementation. So you're telling me that the average Nigerian who faces insecurity, Nigerians contribute money to buy their transformers, to be able to have electricity. Nigerians fix their own roads in their neighborhoods. Nigerians are the ones that are paying to fix the structural challenges that we have in the country. Are they going to get deductions for those things? If I combine with my neighbors or people in my area and we fix our transformer, can we file that at the end of the year and get refunds? If I fix our local roads as with my other counterparts, can we get refunds on those things? As a businessman, if I'm going on a trip within Nigeria and I get kidnapped and my family, my business is being asked to pay a ransom, which some of us have done already, and sometimes you talk to the police, you give them the information, you're not getting any help. If I pay that ransom to the kidnappers, by sheer God's grace, I survive, can I file that as the cost of doing business at the end of the year? What am I trying to say? I'm sure you get my drift, Enemaku.
Okay.
The point here is this. There are so many structural challenges that the government needs to fix before you start talking about enacting new tax policies.
All right.